All right, boys. So I've got a bit of a trippy one, more of a thought experiment, stream of thought type of thing. But more and more in today's day and age, we're seeing these new scientific discoveries coming out. It's going to extend life. We're going to, be living to 250 years old. We're going to be at some point in the next 5, 10 years. We're going to be reversing aging faster than the actual aging process itself. So we're basically going to be buying more time than we're losing at a certain point. And on its face, this seems sweet, right? So it seems all good. What's wrong with that? Like everybody's kind of striving for that. Everybody's very excited about it. But what I may not necessarily even believe it's possible. But that's probably a topic for another video to go deep down the rabbit hole on that one. Whether it's even physically possible for us to extend our age out beyond, say, 120 years. I'm not very convinced about that, but I could be wrong on that. I don't have a strong position this way or that way. But just on the regular thing, yeah, let's just take it at its face value and say that living to 250 is possible. And then in the very near future, with all these new scientific discoveries that are coming along, we're going to be able to extend more life than we lose, and basically whoever's around at that time is just going to be, living like passing go and collecting $200 of to infinitude, basically. But yeah, let's get real, because the real question is, what are the implications of such a thing? If we're able to extend our life indefinitely, or say to 250 years old, what are the implications that will have on us as a being, as a species, as creation? So the implications that are presented to us are all very positive, right? You got more time to get things done. You got more time to have family, have kids, have beautiful relationships with people. You have the opportunity to potentially even live multiple different lives in one. You could be an artist for 30 years. You could be an astronaut, even though that's not even a real thing. But you get what I'm saying, yeah? You have time to do multiple different things. You can be marketing in one lifestyle in one lifetime. You can be a caregiver in another. You can access different ends of the spectrum, and essentially leave a legacy. With family, with things that you got done during your lifetime and stuff. It all sounds good on its face. And when I hear people speaking about this, or when I'm engaged in these conversations with people close to me, I hear only these positive sides. And that's fair, right? That might happen. But I think there's nobody talking about what are the potential downsides to living to 250 years old. Because from where I'm sitting, there's a lot. That's not a free ticket. So basically, if I would lay out the things that I can see as potential downsides, I feel like we've already got track record to kind of support it. So anyway, what are they? We've got potentially delayed maturity. We've got an excess in laziness and sloth. We've got also, that could be a massive one, like extreme separation further, because it's already happening, but extreme separation of the classes. So you've got the upper class and basically deletion of the middle class and then the lower class, and this gap will just rise. I think that movie In Time with DiCaprio, or no, it was the other bloke, the singer, that was kind of playing on that. I think I can't remember what exactly the details, but they were living longer, they had the time written down on their arms, and the classes were just gone, like you couldn't access the top leagues. That's a real potential. And my take is also that they hide these things in plain sight. The truth is always there for us to see. That's when I flip my conspiracy brain on. Not that it ever flips off, but they hide these things in plain sight. That's where they're kind of going with it. That's where they're going with a lot of what's happening in the world around us today, with the technocracy, the focus and the push for everything to be technological, the 15-minute cities, and these experimental programs that they're running, and if you know. And where does that lead? That leads to basically depravity and excess hedonism and chaos, because people tend to adjust to what they're given. And this is what I was talking about just a minute ago, because we do have a track record for this. It's said that Alexander the Great conquered the world at 16 years old. Find me a 16-year-old that could do anything of note, that could get anything done, that like you've got some 16-year-olds who can build a business and become successful in that way. Fair play. It's pretty impressive. But blokes back in the day, 16-year-olds were taking over, not countries, taking over civilization. If it's real, yeah? Like, I've got my doubts about the historical narrative, mainstream historical narrative that we're fed, but, that's a story for another day. Let's take it at face value again and assume that that's the case. It seems very obvious, like, for example, I can just say in my life, anecdotally, my grandfather at 13 or 14 years old rode his bicycle from England to France. Like, what 13-year-olds doing that nowadays? And this is only 2 generations removed. And, there's many other examples. People got married sooner back in the day and started families, started working, being serious contributors to society, individuals. We don't see any of that today. And this is only a couple generations past. We're not even living to, what's the average age of death nowadays is around 80. And let's say 100, 120 years. There's also a Bible verse that says that our Creator has limited us to 120 years. So that's one of the foundational kind of doubts that I have, because I believe in that. I believe in that as fact. And I don't think that's in there by mistake or it's a misnomer. I think that's fact. But let's say that there's a loophole, there's somewhere around it, maybe it's wrong, whatever. Let's say that there's a way to get to 250 years old. In the course of our own lives and our parents and our grandparents, we have more than enough examples to see that actually our development is slowing down. It's not speeding up, or it's not even maintaining the same. So if we're given 250 years, right now we've got 80, what are we going to do with all that extra time? Is it going to descend into hedonism and chaos and separation of the classes and laziness and sloth and basically full-grown adult children? Because I kind of lean that direction. If you ask me, if people start living to 250 years old, I feel like we're going back. I feel like there'll be 50, 60-year-old adults who are behaving like adolescents now, teenagers now. And I think that our track record supports that more than, you could say like the other side of the argument is that, we'd be starting around the same time that we have kids now, around 30 years old is probably the average in the West. And then just pumping out big families. You've got like multiple generations to look after and take care of, and then take care of you as you get older. You can live these multiple different lives and dip your toes into many different puddles of water. But if we're being serious, does that sound likely? Or are we just going to be overgrown children? I'm a product of that too. I'm 35. I'm 36. I don't have a family. I'm basically a product of this exact same thing, like a delayed maturity onset. Yeah, I'm a man. I take care of my responsibilities. I get things done. I run my own business. Yeah, but there is a very obvious delay in the development of the things that used to be commonplace, and the more time we're given, almost, it's like the more time that we take for granted, and then by extension, abuse. And I think that would get out of hand if we come into 200, 250 years. What's that, 3x what we're living now? Is that what we really want? Deep down? Do we want to live for these inordinate amount of time so that we can piss about or let's just say, okay, best case scenario, we take over and start to be hyper productive all of a sudden and very appreciative of the time that we have? I don't know, bro. I feel like that's a pipe dream, to be honest. I just don't see it happening. Maybe you could say I'm being pessimistic, but I don't think there's anything to back it up. Maybe you've got some good arguments against it. Fire them at me. But yeah, for me, I just feel like that's that's just wasting away our opportunities is in our nature. It kind of seems like that way to me. It's like we are inherent procrastinators, right? I think everybody can relate to that. Like, especially like I'm the guy that I'm like, if there's an exam the next day, I'm doing it. In school days, I was doing it night before. You know, if there was an assignment, if there was an assignment, I was doing it night before. If there was an exam, but I wasn't even studying. But let's say if I would study, it would be the night before on the way there. We're inherent procrastinators. You know, these like the 7 deadly sins. You got sloth, you got which is laziness. You got gluttony. You got these things. We just kind of, it's in our nature to take things for granted, and yeah, like I said, that kind of leads off into another rabbit hole with God, the Creator, and whether or not there are limitations to this, because I think that there are, but I could be wrong. But it still is the lesson to keep striving and getting excited about these next. Because by the way, how long have they been talking about these developments for? I know since I was like 20 years old, they've been talking about very soon we're gonna start extending life faster than we're taking it away. Like, I don't know, bro. I haven't seen much in the way of success there, but let's say that we get there. Is the lesson to just continue to keep striving to gain more and more in that kind of gluttonous, excessive fashion? Or is it just to be happy with what we've got? Just to be appreciative of the time that we do have. The fact that we die is the whole reason what makes life so beautiful to begin with. It's that duality. It's like the close people in your life, they're not going to be there forever. So take as much time with them as you can while they're here. And I think that's the main lesson. I used to be all in on this, by the way, all in. I couldn't be more G'd about a topic about extension of lives, and like I was all for it. But as I got older and more mature and I'm more realistic and honest with myself, I was like, bro, I don't know. It seems like a pipe dream to me. It seems like a little bit of a fantasy, a little bit of a childish fantasy almost, without wanting to come across as condescending. Because like I said, I was there for most of my life. But yeah, I think that's it. I will get into some other related topics, like I said, around the God topic and if it's even possible. But yeah, let me know what you think. Hit me in the comments with thoughts. If you like any of the tangents, you want me to go make a separate video about that, I want to hear about that. And as always, if you got pushback, push back. And until the next one, God bless.